Dr. Vegapunk is a scientific genius, but I believe that same genius that created the special science group, the SSG, will also trigger the great One Piece final war. Now you may think what I said is already a bold claim, but I'm about to top this off with a bolder claim. The reason for this final war will be the introduction of the unlimited scientific devil fruit soldiers. I promise you, this is information Oda doesn't want you to know. I'm your host ReelRayman, and today I'm not just gonna prove what I just said, but also I want you to join me to explore the enigma that is Dr. Vegapunk and the SSG. But before the video starts, be sure to subscribe to the channel to ensure you're notified for future upcoming videos and help us reach that 1000 subscriber mark. But without further ado, let's begin. Dr. Vegapunk is now the person who's the lead scientist of the Marines, but this was always not the case. Vegapunk was first a member of the Mad Science Group, a research team that illegally operated to make scientific discoveries. And while Vegapunk and Judge were studying and developing weapons, they happened to discover the bloodline element, aka lineage factor that exists within all living things. The world government, being threatened by this revelation, arrested Dr. Vegapunk, and he's worked as a Marine ever since. It will be important to note for later on in this video that Vegapunk's association with the Marines was not authentic. He only began working for them because he was captured. But for now, we need to focus on this bloodline element's discovery because I feel it will come back to the story very soon and in a very big way. This very discovery allowed Vegapunk and Judge to manipulate the genetics of living organisms and create clones of them. That is what the Germa 66 army is comprised of, clone soldiers with the genetics of the most fearless, subservient warriors they had access to. But the world government are also interested in creating subservient warriors, namely the Cypher Pole agents. They were fed world government propaganda since they were children. I mean, we just have to look at Rob Lucci's dialogue during the Reverie. The celestial dragons are the gods who created this world. It's only natural that gods get what they want. And then you look at the rooftop battle against Kaido. A CP0 agent sacrificed his life to slightly delay a battle between Kaido and Luffy. But imagine for a second the CP0 agents could be cloned. It sounds far-fetched at first, but Vegapunk and Judge both discovered the lineage factor. Judge is already able to clone soldiers, with the catch being it takes 5 years to create a 20-year-old soldier. So Vegapunk should have the capabilities to produce the exact same technology for the government. Actually, imagine it, one Rob Lucci and then you put 100. It's crazy. But we're not even scratching the surface here, and this theory gets much crazier. Vegapunk made two major advancements within the Devil Fruit realm. The lesser achievement, still very great, was Vegapunk being able to incorporate Kizaru's lasers into the Pacifista. And for some reason, Dr. Vegapunk, or anyone for that matter in the One Piece world, is unable to replicate Logia or Paramecia fruits. But Pacifista were able to have Logia abilities installed into them. And another really important revelation is that Frankie told us under all of the fancy Pacifista cyborg technology, they are still able to bleed. So it seems the Pacifistas were created just like Judge's soldiers. They were cloned, but they didn't clone some random soldiers off the street like Judge. They cloned Kuma. And what's really important is that these clones can also consume devil fruits. All types, Logias, Paramecia, and Zones. Since they are formed from regular human cells, nothing is stopping them from consuming devil fruits. And there's one class of devil fruits that can be replicated, the Zones. It's still up for debate whether Logias or Paramecias can be reproduced, so either Vegapunk is hiding some secret, or fundamentally it is impossible to recreate these fruits. This may have to do with Logia fruits being composed of an element, and Paramecia fruits, well, they can't really be explained in a simple way. Law's fruit is a great example, only God can explain that. You get it? The celestial dragons, gods, Emu. But what's important right now is that Zones can be replicated. Momonosuke's fruit was deemed a failure by Dr. Vegapunk, but in the current arc, he turned into a fully fledged dragon, even being capable of producing flame clouds. He doesn't have the abilities like Borrow Breath and Windside yet. Either the devil fruit was actually a failure and Vegapunk couldn't replicate these abilities, but I find it way more likely these are trained abilities and Momo will get access to them over time. And I think Vegapunk hid this discovery because he realizes how dangerous this really is. I mean, the world government have been trying for centuries to create these dragons, and now Vegapunk can replicate one of these fruits? And if he can replicate one, why can't he create thousands? That means in the current timeline, we have technology able to implement Logia lasers. Who knows what other Logia abilities can be implemented? We can also create copies of all Zone fruits. And the one we discussed at the very start, clone any soldier they want. Now, I'm sure you see where I'm coming from with my claim at the very start. Unlimited, scientific, devil fruit super soldiers. The SSG or Special Science Group is formulated by Vegapunk himself and something that Fujitora believes is powerful enough to replace the Warlord system. I believe this SSG to be a combination of all the elements I've discussed, obedient soldiers being cloned with scientific enhancements and devil fruits, and I don't think Vegapunk would be so careless to allow the SSG to run loose like this. I think they will also have commanders similar to how Sentomaru commands the Pacifista, and because Vegapunk created the SSG and even Fujitora, a fellow good marine, approved the idea, it may start out as what the world believes to be this great, good fighting force. Something way better than the Warlord system, which was basically just pirates taking over countries. And I think the main upside or downside, depending which side you're on, is that the SSG can always be replaced easily. They just need to be cloned. Meaning if you were battling the SSG, you wouldn't just need to take them out. You would need to take them out faster than them being cloned. But there's a whole problem with the SSG I've discussed that has been lingering the whole story. Vince Smoke Judge discovered this problem back in Whole Cake. These soldiers are obedient and emotionless to a fault. Similar to how most characters view someone like Akainu or Rob Lucci, it's absolute justice, and the SSG will be the pinnacle of this. And I think there are two ways the SSG will eventually backfire, both of them leading to the same outcome. Either Vegapunk originally created a group too powerful in the SSG that loses control, or someone or something gets access to Vegapunk's technology. And this is where the theory comes together. Luffy is always fighting against pirates that oppress nations, but there is one massive organization in charge of the world that can easily be defined as the worst pirates. They busticle any island with any sort of information against them. They collect a heavenly tribute from each country, and they even have slaves as pets for celestial dragons. In reality, they are worse than any pirates we've seen throughout the story, and the only way they get this power is through control. And what better way to solidify your control than have an army of super obedient, clonable, Logia implemented devil fruit warriors? And this SSG could spread across the world, and once countries really realize what's going on, the SSG are taking away their right, maybe even punishing small crimes like stealing a cookie. Okay, I know that's a very bad example, but we'll roll with it. But where I'm going with this is that the story of One Piece is really a dystopian manga when you really delve into it. At its core, it's about pirates who are challenging this unjust government. Freedom versus control. Starting with Kuma losing his emotions, the development of the pacifistas, the introduction of German 66. The tone just got darker and darker, and I feel this great SSG will exemplify the totalitarian rule of the world government. And Vegapunk has always had an emergency self-destruct button at hand. I think this button may mean that something Vegapunk will create eventually should be destroyed, or else total chaos will ensue. And something really funny, I remember a YouTube short I made a while back saying it's possible for Kaido to join Luffy's side in the final war. And someone said, who are they trying to fight? God? And the point they were making was actually valid. If we think about all the allies Luffy has in the final war, Shanks, Dragon, the Grand Fleet, some people even say good marines aka Fujitora will turn on the world government. Where are all the soldiers on the world government side? Akainu? But that's one guy and Shanks easily takes him out. What do the world government get? They should also get what they've wanted the entire story. An invincible army of obedient soldiers. It will truly be the great final war. And this possibility of unlimited, obedient, clonable devil fruit soldiers could change the entire One Piece story as we know it. And I hope I proved it through this video, and even if I didn't, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe to the realest channel in the West, and share this video if you enjoyed it. I'll be back. Peace.